想定していた全てを大谷翔平は超えてきたんだ。世界の野球が今さらに動き始めています。きっかけはたった一人の日本人、ドジャースのスタン・カステン社長兼 CEO は語りました。ドジャースの収益、スポンサー来場者、そして世界の野球熱さえも塗り替えてしまった大谷翔平、さらに通訳事件をきっかけに明らかになったのは彼の本当の素顔でした。面白くて明るくて協力的で最高のチームメイトだった。そして山本由伸、佐々木朗希へと続いていく新しい扉。 MLB は今日本を中心としたアジアから次の主役が生まれる未来を本気で見据えています。ということで今回はドジャースの社長兼 CEO のスタン・カステン氏が CNBC のインタビューで口にした大谷翔平と日本野球の本当の価値、その全てを日本語字幕付きで紹介します。それでは参りましょう。最後まで大谷を語りまくります。
Couple shoheiohtani questions for you. Is there a way that you can quantify the business impact that Shohei has had on the Dodgers? Like, is there a number?
There are many numbers, none of which I will share publicly, but yes, all I can say is it exceeded everything that we anticipated. And we anticipated a lot. We didn't know it would have this kind of impact. But more importantly, not just for the Dodgers, the impact it has had for Major League Baseball. The combination of the Dodgers' long-standing legacy and stature in the sport, combined with this newfound celebrity of the most popular global baseball player right now, has really propelled interest in our game, not just domestically, which it has, but increasingly around the world. And that's a great opportunity for baseball to capitalize on. We've had our eye on greater internationalization for a decade or two. This has really given us a heads up, a leg up on the next thing that we can do, not just in Japan, not just in Korea, where we also have had players from, but increasingly around the world where baseball is reaching out. You've seen all that baseball has been doing in Europe for the last few years.
Yeah.
That is continuing. We have our eyes on the Indian subcontinent because of their affinity for cricket and the similarities to baseball. So this newfound attention that baseball is having because of the Shohei phenomenon, yes, it has impacted us tremendously. But it's been an even bigger impact for baseball at large.
It sounds like what you're saying is it's only a matter of time now before we start to see major league caliber players come out of Europe, potentially come out of India. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No, I hope that's right. I was in the NBA before we had any Europeans in basketball. Try to imagine the NBA today without Europeans in it, right? So that day is coming, that day will get here. I don't know when. I don't know if it's 2, 5, or 10 years. But all of us have our eyes on it. And with increasing globalization, with increasing exposure of our game around the world, will come the next wave of players also. And that'll be a great day.
Well, I guess one of the potential hurdles of that, which is not a case for a combat sport, is that baseball's complicated. Like, there's a lot of rules that do you feel like that's a hurdle as you expand the game internationally?
And yet 7- and 8-year-olds seem to do just fine
in this
with
country.
it. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it can't be that complicated.
Well, I suppose.
It's not a run up and down and hit a goal thing like hockey or like basketball. I get, but even those things have rules around the edges. Yeah, ours is 3 outs, 3 strikes, 4 balls, 9 innings. Like I said, 7- and 8-year-olds can master that, so I don't think it's too complicated.
I guess, yeah. I mean, 7- and 8-year-olds can master a language too, but try teaching a 50-year-old a language, you know? It's a lot harder.
Well, that's why increasingly we need to make sure every 7- and 8-year-old is exposed to baseball. And that's why it's so important that we get even more exposure across every platform we can think of.
Another Ohtani question, because you kind of led right into it, which is that you said he exceeded your expectations. Yeah. You tried to sign Shohei, whatever that was, 7 years ago or so, at that point, and he said no, and he signed with the Angels. Then you got to him this time. What has surprised you the most about what your expectations were when you signed him to what actually has happened?
Well, there's 2 things, 2 ways I'll answer. First, the business side is obviously it has increased our revenues, ticketing, sponsorships. You look around our stadium, we have a lot of new sponsors that weren't candidates for sponsorship a few years ago because we have a lot of foreign international sponsors. So that has been helpful. You can't walk around this stadium any time of day, any day of the year, without running into a group. And we have 4 different languages for our groups. Every day of the year, we have business coming in. I've heard a number that 30% of the visitors to Los Angeles from Japan make a stop at Dodger Stadium. So those are some of the business things. One of the things we learned after the news broke in Korea about the swindle of his translator was we didn't know all the things about Shohei that we know now. Once that wall came down, before then, we were being told Shohei doesn't want this, Shohei doesn't want that. It really never was about Shohei. It was what the translator didn't want. We just didn't know that. Once he left, all of a sudden, and that wall came down, we realized what a funny guy he is, what a fun guy he is, what a cooperative guy he is, what a great teammate he is. There's not a player on our team who doesn't love him as a teammate, no one who works harder. And a lot of those things we didn't know when we signed him. We were going to sign him anyway, because just what he does on the field is amazing. But we've learned that subsequent, and it's just been fantastic.
I mentioned Yamamoto and Sasaki also. I'm curious, have you learned anything about international scouting or player evaluation?
I was in the league when Ichiro came over. Until then, we didn't know that a position player could make it in the major leagues. We didn't. And it was an interesting thing to watch. Turns out he could be the best player in the game and go to the Hall of Fame, even after a Hall of Fame career over there. So I think it's just more reinforcement that their quality over there in Asian countries, particularly in Japan and Korea, also in Taiwan, they have players who can play over here. We're just spending more time and resources because all of us are greedy. All of us in baseball, we're all looking for the next best thing. And so we're out there scouting more so than we did in the past. But it's just reinforcing what we've known now, at least since the time of Ichiro arriving.
いかがでしたでしょうか。大谷翔平はチームの形を変え、世界の野球ビジネスを変え、そして MLB の未来そのものを変えてしまった球団社長の口から語られたのは大谷翔平、そして日本人選手への揺るぎない敬意でした。山本由伸のワールドシリーズでの衝撃、佐々木朗希のポテンシャル、そしてその先に続く次の世代、日本人の野球はもう挑戦者ではなく MLB、そして野球を動かす中心点の一つになっているようです。世界が築いた日本の力、そしてその中心には大谷翔平の名前がありました。ということで最後までご視聴ありがとうございました。これからも大谷 TV で野球の未来を一緒に見ていただけると嬉しいです。チャンネル登録、コメント、高評価よろしくお願いします。